Welcome to Costume Co. Back in August, we visited Fan Expo Canada, the largest comics, sci-fi, horror, anime, and gaming event in the country. So we met up with some super talented cosplayers in Toronto, Canada, many who are willing to share their cosplay techniques and sources. Check out my interviews coming up.
Obviously, you're dressed as Luigi, so tell me about this costume.
I figured it would be great because I'm taller, and with Smash Brothers coming out, I figured it would be a good hit. Redoing it from last year, where my brother and my niece were Bowser and Peach as well. Just pulling around my Piranha Plant tote.
Yeah, that's a really amazing prop. I love it. How did you make that?
The tube itself is for the concrete pours. I just put some black foam around it. The plant itself is a wooden stock for the stem and a paper mulch with metal screening for the actual plant itself and the teeth.
Now, I've noticed that the kids are really drawn to you. Have you been taking lots of pictures with the kids today?
Oh yeah, plenty. I would say a good 80% of them were with the kids, and then the rest were other people who are just fanatic about Luigi.
Now, I don't think that's a prosthetic mustache. Is that your own mustache?
Oh, this is real. It's all me. It's all me.
And the sideburns?
Yes.
So how did you make this costume?
Well, I had to go to St. Jacob's area to get the overalls because for some reason city people don't like overalls. This is just a basic American Eagle shirt. But then everything else, the flowers here are made of molder's clay. Same with the bombs. They're like doll heads. I just painted black. And then the mushrooms are the candy tins.
That's awesome. Okay, so tell me about your costume. How did you come to make this?
Oh, honestly, I just bought this, but I modified it to like fit me because it ended up being too big. But yeah, and I had to cut a few pieces to make it actually fit me.
So and did you find the breastplate online, or where'd you get that?
Online, yeah.
Yeah. And then how did you come to do the mask though?
Oh, I had a friend do make some foam for me, right? And then later on, she did the rest of the art. So, and then the rest of the painting was done by her.
Yeah, the painting is beautiful. She did an awesome job. Does she also cosplay?
Yes, she.
Well, look who I've run into here at Fan Expo. I've run into the Yip Yip Martians from outer space. I'm not sure where in outer space they're from, but everyone probably remembers them from their childhood from Sesame Street. Yep. Okay, so what do you guys have to say? Are you having a fun time?
Yep, 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 yep.
What about telephones? Are you into telephones? Have you been here all weekend?
Yep, 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 yep.
What's the other sound they make? Is there another sound that you make?
Moo. Cow. Cow. Cow.
Cow.
Cow.
Moo. Moo.
Greetings. Nope.
Well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure meeting you. So tell me about your costume. How did you come to make it? It's beautiful.
I made this in time for Halloween last year. So I had to make the dress and kind of twice because the lining is the second dress on the inside, and I'm not a pro at sewing, but this was a challenge.
You did a great job. It really looks good. And what about your necklace? You did an amazing job on that.
Yeah, I made that with Warbler thermoplastic with a little foam on the inside, sculpted the little lion, and then put some Warbler over it to try and fit it.
Yeah, it's great. And what about your shoes? What are you wearing there?
Just boots.
Yeah, they're boots.
She
does wear like a sort of a boot.
Yeah, little red boots, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you choose this fabric?
I actually searched a lot, and I ended up ordering it online from India. So I really liked this specific pattern. It was the one that looked the most like the original dress, and I just couldn't find anything local that would resemble it.
Yeah, it's a really great job. And you did a good job on the collar and everything here. Now tell me about yours. Obviously this is from season 7.
Yes, season 7. I did the pattern myself because I'm a pattern maker. So I did the whole thing. I found this fabric on Saint-Hubert in Montreal, and this one too. Yeah, we're from Montreal.
Welcome. I'm from Montreal originally.
Good. Welcome too. So after that, for the construction of the rest of the costume, this was done in Warbler, thermoplastic, and I formed it, molded it with the heat gun, and then painted it. So
Yeah, it's beautiful. So you made the pattern yourself. And then what about the underskirt? Did you find a pleated skirt?
I found the fabric that was already pleated, so I just had to use the fabric as it was and just do a skirt. As I do the pattern, it was easy.
And you did a really good job on your wigs as well. So where'd you get your wig from?
I got it from Arda Wigs, but it comes like this already. So really, I didn't do anything as opposed to her.
It come from Arda wig too. I had to work it.
You had to do all the braids. Like she has several layers of braids. Can you mind turning around so we can see the back? That's amazing. Now, where'd you get the regular chain though?
This is from a regular hardware store.
Yeah, so you're very resourceful in that way. And what did you do for the boots?
The boots are, these are covers. I actually have shoes underneath with a zipper behind. And this was done with leather. This is actual leather. And I have a leather on the piece over here.
Yeah, it looks really great. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Oh, sorry, what kind of, is that silk that you use for the drape?
It's an imitation.
An imitation. It looks like a sort of a nice snubby silk type fabric though. Yeah. And I like the color on this because I think a lot of times for Circe, it's not quite blonde or white. It's kind of more yellow golden like you have.
Arda Wigs has such a huge selection of colors. It's really nice.
Tell me how you came to make your costume.
Well, I'd made the wedding dress first, so I wanted something a little easier to wear at conventions, and I just drafted the pattern, and this is literally a bed sheet. But
So now, did you take your underpinnings from the wedding dress? Are you wearing the stays?
yes, I'm wearing the stays from the wedding dress and the bum pad.
Yeah.
But not the panniers.
Not the panniers, obviously, or the petticoat. Were you able to use that?
Yeah, it's the same petticoat.
So you used a bed sheet for the skirt. Looks really good.
Thank you.
And the bodice, you said you did your own pattern for that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about the, sorry, I forgot the name of it.
Me too, stomacher.
Stomacher. How did you do that?
It is the same thing. It's just drafted my own pattern. It's supposed to have boning, but I was lazy.
It looks pretty stiff though, maybe because if your stays are like, nice and rigid, it has a nice stiffness to it, because I noticed some of the cosplayers have issues with it sometimes flopping a bit.
Yeah, I use interfacing to just strengthen it a little bit.
And what about your wig?
It's just a brown wig that didn't do anything special.
It's good quality though. It's got a lace front.
Yes.
Now tell me about your costume. Did you make your costume?
I'm not as great as her. She actually helped me with the vest. It's not finished. And I made my belts. And
Looks good.
Thank you.
Did you make this out of warbler?
Yeah, warbler. The sword is made out of warbler, the hilt, and yeah.
And then what did you do with the tartan? You just sort of draped it around yourself, kind of like a great kilt?
It is a great kilt.
Oh, okay. Oh, it is. You're just letting it hang down the back. Yeah, okay, that's great. So did you like do the pleating and then lying in it?
Like I watched, there's this scene that they cut from the show. It's like a deleted scene, and it kind of shows Jamie like laying it out and stuff, so I pretty much just copied that.
Yeah, apparently that's quite authentic, like the way that they actually did it.
And it hangs really well. Like I'm not afraid of it falling off or anything. It's great.
Used to be.
Yeah.
And then what about your wig? Where'd you get your wig?
This one's probably eBay. I don't know, it's a cheap wig. It's hard to find a Jamie wig, to be honest. I have another one that I used to wear. It was darker, but it wasn't as curly, so we just kind of were like, this one.
She painted that one as well to try to get the color more authentic.
Oh, you did? It looks really realistic. The red. Well, his hair isn't really that color either, apparently.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, I saw like photos of the character. I tried to paint it to it, but then it flakes off. So I have to like play around with it.
Okay, tell me about your costume.
Yeah, I've always loved the character of Han Solo. Always found him pretty relatable. I made an original one a few years back as like a Halloween costume, and then finally hunkered down last year and built something a little bit more true to the screen. There's still some improvements I'd still like to make. I always like to keep improving every year on everything.
It's very good though.
Thank you.
Now what about your vest? I love that.
This was it was a jacket with like all these like weird zippers and pouches and stuff, and so I took the sleeves off to make the pouches on the back.
Oh yeah, do you mind turning around? Oh yeah. And we're not even sure what he uses those for, right?
Yeah, no, they're just kind of there for trim. Why not? Yeah, so I just took it apart and reworked it to make it look a little bit more like what I needed it to.
And then what about your trousers? Like we were saying, you have the Corellian blood stripes.
This is just it's just a strip of red that I painted the stripes onto, and then hand stitched them all down. Eventually, I would like to do a proper embroidered set,
That actually, you hand stitched that? That's an amazing job.
Yeah, hand stitched down both sides.
And what about your belt and your holster and all that?
Just pleather, polymer clay, some snaps, some belts.
And that's a blaster?
Yes. This was the
Very cool.
This was the Ruby's standard, white and orange one that I.
Yeah, they do the licensed items.
Makes the
it's
noise.
very cool. Yeah, I love it so much. And then you're just wearing like desert boots or something?
Yeah, just my docks.
Yeah, so tell me about your costume and how you made it.
Actually, I didn't make it. That's my daughter that actually made it for me because I'm clumsy with tiny things. So I'm good with other stuff, but not with the
well, it's very beautiful. So what about your hair, though? That's your own hair?
Yeah, absolutely. That was my own hair, own beard. That took 2 years to grow.
Well, the coloring is perfect, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and obviously Mark Hamill, I think that was his own hair.
Absolutely, yeah.
So are you wearing like the sort of the Japanese sort of wrap underneath there? Do you mind if I see it? Yeah. Very nice. Is it linen?
Yeah, exactly.
It's linen, yeah. So it's got a very natural homespun kind of quality to it?
Absolutely, and it's more, the texture is more breathable, so...
Do you find it comfortable and cool then?
Yeah.
Yeah, linen's a beautiful fabric, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it, Francis.
Thank you so much.
And you're having a fun time?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Great time.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. Okay. Hi, we're here with Audrey. We're at your booth, actually.
Yes, exactly.
It's very nice to meet you. So you're one of the featured cosplayers at Fan Expo?
Yes.
I think I know who you are. Are you Alexa?
Yes.
From the 100? Wonderful.
She's the best, isn't she?
She's awesome. So tell me how you made this costume.
It was a lot of research to get all the details right and to get the same pieces as they use in the show, like for the belts and the dagger. I don't have it with me since it's a weapon, but I really wanted to portray it as closely as they did in the show as possible. So.
Yeah, I know you did a really job. I immediately knew as soon as I saw that on your forehead.
Yeah.
Now, how do you make like the armor pieces and so on?
I used EVA foam. Pretty simple. I did the weathering with Dremel, and it's really like just improvising, testing trials and errors.
One thing I noticed that you do a really good job on is your distressing. You've got amazing. So, what kind of tools do you use for that? A lot of people want to know that often.
Sanding paper, knife, Dremel, sand, lighter. Like I burned, rolled everything in mud. I went for the real thing.
Yeah, so you actually like grind it into the dirt and stuff like that? Yeah, because speaking of we were just talking to Luke Skywalker, I was reading that Obi-Wan Kenobi, when they made his costume, they actually ground it into the sand.
Yeah, if you want something to look realistic, make it for real.
And what other cosplay do you like to do? What's your sort of favorite thing to do?
I like to do really strong, badass women. I feel it's really empowering, and I feel confident doing it. So it's my favorite style.
Okay. Now, is that your own hair, though?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you wear wigs sometimes, or do you usually use your own hair?
Since Lexa has a really natural look, I wanted to use my own hair, but for more fantasy type of characters or hair that is drastically different than mine, I use wig. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. I really appreciate it. So tell me about your costumes. I saw you across the room in Zoom. Immediately, I came over to you.
Well, I'm the Firekeeper from Dark Souls 3. I'm an NPC, just help out the main character. That's pretty much it. It took probably a couple months to make this, but I was on and off.
Well, and one of the first things I noticed about you was the cape. It's really beautiful, the fabrics, the brocades.
All right. Yeah. It's very nice, yeah.
Yeah. So where do you source your fabrics?
I get mine, I'm from Edmonton, so I get my fabric from Fabricland.
Oh, you got that from Fabricland. It's really beautiful. So is this your first time at Fan Expo?
No, this is my fourth time.
Yeah. Fourth, both of you?
Yeah. Yes. So I live here. This is my sister, so she comes to visit me for Fan Expo.
Oh, so you live here, and she's visiting. That's amazing. And now tell me about your mask. That's really incredible.
Well, it's made out of Warbler. The base is made out of Warbler, and I put Model Magic on top of it. It's kind of coming off right now.
Oh, yeah. No, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
But you can't see through it, I guess.
No, I can't. No.
Okay.
My character is blind, so.
Oh, it's fine. Okay. And what about your gown?
My gown, it's 2 pieces. There's a skirt and then the top part
Yeah,
here.
it's really beautiful, like a jersey.
Yeah, it's very nice. Very comfortable as well.
And then did you put the lace appliques on and so on, like the lace on the neckline and along the edge
Yes,
here?
yes, yeah.
How was that difficult to do?
Yeah, it's a little hard to sew lace. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how long have you been cosplaying?
I kind of do it casually. It's my 4th year of cosplay, yeah.
Now, tell me about your costume. You told me, and as soon as you told me, I knew exactly who you were. Who are you?
So Princess Mononoke, or San from Princess Mononoke by Miyazaki. Yeah, so it's an anime movie. I'm the princess of the wolf gods, basically.
So how did you make your costume?
So actually she made my dress. She's the sewer. This is the blue one underneath. Actually almost exactly the same material, and we didn't plan that, which is super weird. Our dresses are
can I touch it? Can I touch it? It's like a
softer.
Oh, it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's really soft. Yeah. And then what about your mask?
So this is actually a styrofoam half sphere with air dried clay for the top. So that took forever, and I had to glue them back on because they crack, and cosplay.
Yeah, this is the thing about cosplay. It's trial and error, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought it would work the first time. It didn't. It cracked. I glued it back on, and it worked the second time. So yay!
And then what do you like? I got a faux fur piece at the back.
Oh yeah, the fur is from Queen's Textiles, I think.
Very good store. I like that store.
Really like it. So all the pieces are the same yard, and then I cut them off. So they're sewn actually with yarn. So yarn sewing to this, and then to up atop of my hood as well. Yeah.
What about your staff that you made?
So yeah, turn around. You can see my.
Oh wow! Oh my God! It's a full pelt. I'm touching it. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. It's very soft.
Oh, it's so soft. Now, are people coming up and touching you?
Oh yeah, I get petted. Little kids play with my ears on escalators. It's fun.
I was looking at that pelt actually. I don't know if you girls watch Game of Thrones. That would be a good pelt for Game of Thrones.
It does kind of look like the Game of Thrones pelts. They used rugs on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, on some of the earlier seasons they did for sure. Yeah. So now, what about the staff?
So this is just a broom handle that I painted, and then this is foam board with white tape over it, and then painted again.
That's very Canadian. To use duct tape, right?
White duct tape. Woo!
Hi, we're here with Luca, who is dressed as Hellgirl. Tell me about your costume.
This is honestly one of my favorite comic book characters, and I'm not like a 6'6" ripped guy, but I went for it anyway.
I think you look amazing.
Thank
you. So tell me about all the elements that you have here. How did you put this all together?
So the coat is actually made out of couch fabric, so that it would be cheaper to make. My gloves are foam, and it's puppeteered, and I've even got a gun.
It's amazing. Now, what about like the prosthetic horns?
So they're just liquid latex on insulation foam, and they're shaped to my face, so they stay in place, but just glued on.
And then what about your foundation pieces? What are you wearing under there?
So I have let me tuck that aside. I have just some pants that I modified, but all the accessories in the belt I've made myself. So it's really convenient because there's pockets everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So you always have someplace to put things. And now, tell me about your wig and makeup then.
So the makeup is Ben Nye Cream Effects. It's like actual theater makeup, so it's waterproof and I don't sweat it off.
Yeah, it's great makeup.
But it's an Arta wig.
Okay. And then, and you're wearing false eyelashes?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you enjoy wearing those? Like, how do you put those on?
It's a love-hate relationship. It takes a lot of practice, and it's a lot of. Okay, I think it's centered. No, it's not.
Yeah. And what about your wig?
So it's a lace front wig from Arta, and it's kind of funny because it's a widow's peak, and I have to slide it back to have enough room for the horns.
Yeah, everyone's been talking about Arta wigs. So what makes their wigs good, do you think?
They have a lot more wefts on them, so like when you see the back of the wig, you don't see the canvas. But the biggest advantage is they're heat resistant. So like I took a curling iron to this. It was a straight wig. And a lot of other wigs you get, if you try to do that, it will just melt.
So tell me about your costume and how you put this all together.
So it was about 3 months of work. All of it is handmade, except for like obviously a few put together chains already. But like all of this links I did myself. Took me about probably a month to do just the links alone.
You know what, when I saw you from far away, I told you I saw you on the escalator, I thought you were wearing a body stocking, but you've got makeup underneath.
Yeah, it's all body paint from Michaels and just eyeliner and insane.
So so it took you about 3 months to do this. Where'd you buy all your supplies though?
So a couple different locations. Like the metal rings were from a store on Spadina. This fabric was actually from a place that I used to work. We used to make wheelchair covers, so it was the perfect texture. And then just all these bits are from like the Fabricland sale bin. And I just
That's a good idea.
Put it all together.
And the necklace?
And the necklace, yeah. I think there's a few shops off Spadina that sell stones and everything.
If anybody's not knowing what we're talking about Toronto. There's some really great stores in Toronto, right? On Queen. Fabric District, exactly. But they could probably find some of this stuff, like you said, online or...
Yeah, and like if you're in the States, probably Joann's probably has that kind of stuff as well. But
now what about... Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What about your headpiece?
It's foam. It's EVA foam.
Oh, wow. You did. How is it fastened into your hair?
So I put a bobby pin.
Okay. Very good.
And then it just kind of slides in.
And then what about your wig?
The wig, it was a cheap one I got online, and then I bought a pack of wefts from Arda, of really long ones, and I just kind of wove it all in because the cheap one was obviously really thin.
Yeah. So you needed to fill it out a little bit.
I needed to fill it out a bit, so I just bought a bunch of wefts, and my friends were making a joke today. They were like, "Oh, you've got a hair out of place. Let me just." Oh,
it's supposed to be that way.
Let me just.
It's supposed to be that.
Yeah, they were joking around.
Except your teeth look really white against everything because you're.
Exactly. It's really fun because I don't have to look pretty.
Now, what about your eye makeup? Like it's smoky.
Yeah, my eyes, it's just eyeshadow.
And then what? Now, what is this supposed to be? Like a glyph or something?
Yeah, it's just they're like ancient runes and stuff because she's like the oldest being to walk the earth and stuff. So all I did was like, it's not even a stick-on or anything. I just took eyeliner and just like did random things.
It looks really good. Yeah, I like it with the hair in your eyes. So it makes it very mysterious.
Right.
So we're here with Matthew. Matthew, who are you dressed up as?
I'm a Brotherhood of Steel Paladin.
So how did you come to create this costume?
I love Fallout. I wanted a costume that I got a lot of pictures with, and I wanted to take my time with it, and Fallout's awesome, so I picked Brotherhood of Steel. So
how long did it take you to make it? Looks like it was quite a bit of an effort.
It was a couple of months of hard work.
So, but one of the things that's cool about it is you've got some electrical elements. You've got this light here, was powered by a battery, I guess.
Yep. And there's also a fan in the mask.
Oh, okay, to keep you cool?
Yep.
And then what about the stereo you have built into your chest piece?
It's actually just a Bluetooth speaker that's on the inside hooked up to my phone.
That's awesome. So now I heard you talking to another fellow that you've used, EVA foam?
Yeah.
Okay, so sort of briefly, how did you go about constructing it?
It was all just eyeballing. I made no tracers, I didn't do anything out of cardboard first. I just kind of put the EVA foam up to my body and just kind of went for it.
That's awesome. So you sort of like, now what about some of these other little elements you have? Where did you get these pieces from? Did you find them at hardware stores?
Yeah, everywhere. Just hardware stores, just junk bins, stuff like that. It's just random stuff.
Now, how long have you been cosplaying?
I've been doing it for a couple of years. I went as Tom Hardy's Bane from Dark Knight Rises a couple of years ago. I went as Umbrella Corps soldiers for a while. The Punisher, but this is my biggest build yet.
I'm always blown away by the generosity of the cosplay community and their willingness to take the time to talk to me. Thank you so much to Touchwood PR for welcoming us. And if you want to see more cosplayers from Fan Expo, check out my interview with Macrame Owl Cosplay. Thank you so much for watching.